everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. So today the Caladenia Shawl dropped. The last episode, Clue 5, was launched today when you guys are seeing this, or really like Thursday night for us is when it drops, for those of us in the US. But anyway, I am here to show you my finished project. I actually did this a little bit of vlog style, so I kind of recorded clips as I worked on this. So instead of me kind of holding it up as a finished thing and showing it to you finished, you guys can see a little bit more along the way and my thoughts along the way. This is more what I intended to do on my channel, just a lot of vlog style type of things versus snapshots in time. So I'm gonna play those clips here first, and then I'll show you guys the finished project at the end. Overall, this was a really great knit along, and also if you don't want it spoiled, of course it's gonna get spoiled at the end when I show you the finished thing. So you might want to kind of save this video for a future watch if you don't quite yet want to see what the final shawl looks like. But overall, this was a really fun knit. I'm really proud of myself that I stuck to my schedule and got it done, you know, blocked, all done by the time the last clue dropped. I definitely didn't knit a clue per week. I think early on the first few clues I got done in that time frame, but the last few took me like 2 weeks each. So I am very glad that I got an early peek at this design. Again, this is a Caladenia Shawl by Ambah O'Brien, which was a mystery knit along she's been hosting throughout April. Actually, her and Jana from Purl Together, the Purl Together podcast, have actually been hosting this, in the sense that they've been doing it as a knit along and have videos on Jana's channel. So I'll link to that below in case you guys are interested in watching the chats that they've had kind of along the way as the clues have dropped. So I definitely recommend this pattern overall, but let's head to the vlog and then stick around for when I show you guys the finished project. So here is the progress on the Caladenia Shawl, the mystery knit along with Ambah O'Brien. This is after clue 3, so I have to kind of fold it up because it is a triangular shawl, so just so you don't have to look at all of it, but this is the middle of it. So I am using, so yeah, this is after clue 3, so I'm done with the mosaic knitting after clues 2 and 3, and I'll be starting clue 4 probably today. For context, today, oh, look at all, I shouldn't have unfolded it, look at all those stitches off the needle. Today is Saturday, March 27th, and so I finished this last night. Again, I'm doing this ahead of time, but wanted to kind of document my progress. Of course, I thought about this late, so anyway, that is that. So you see the 3 colors: Overnight Oats, First Crush, and then Midnight is the dark blue. And so my last color that I haven't introduced yet is Long Time No See. I actually started with Long Time No See, where you see First Crush, and then I ended up changing it, and I'll save it for the end for why, just because I saw the pattern before I started, so I was able to plan it out, and I'll kind of talk about why I did what I did when I finished this up. So anyway, that is my color 4 that I haven't used yet, but I am loving how this looks. I love a good pink and navy, so I'm really glad that I now have a project with that in there. I love like the speckles in First Crush, that you just get the bright red every once in a while. Overnight Oats, we all know, is my favorite, and then Midnight just makes like the perfect contrast. You can see the pattern absolutely perfectly, and so yeah, so this is clue 3, like I said. I think I've given myself like 2 weeks for clue 4, so I might actually take a break from it and start on another project, which you may see in this vlog. I don't know how much I've talked about it, but I'm hoping to vlog more along the way, so I'm not sure like how these will all be pasted together. So anyway, this is the Caladenia Shawl Clue 3, and I do still have kits for this in my shop. I know I'm talking about this on March 27th, but when you would be seeing this, I will still have the kits available. So you can hop on over and knit this up as well. It's really fun. You guys know I'm coming off the Stephen West mystery knit along. This is like so much more manageable and fun, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. Hello, it is Thursday, April 8th, and I finished Clue 4 last night, so I'm going to show it, flip this around, show it to you, and then talk about Clue 5 a little bit. So here is the shawl. It's bunched up again. It's a shawl. It's grown large. So you can see this was Clue 1 with the bobbles in here. Clue 2, this is a navy blue. I think it's showing up more black, but more navy blue. So the mosaic section, colorwork section. And then these were Clues 2 and 3. And then Clue 4, which you guys know because you would have seen it just now, was more of the bobble stripes. So not many rows, but this clue did take a while. Those rows certainly got long, the ones with the bobbles on it. And so yeah, but I had it in my goal to finish this by the end of this upcoming weekend, so ahead of schedule. Clue 2 should be coming out today, so me finishing Clue 4, I feel like they're catching up, but I am still ahead of schedule. So the last clue, so you can see it uses 3 colors. She actually has this as a 3-color or 4-color option, so you could use this color 3 that I used Midnight on. So the colors I'm using is First Crush, Overnight Oats, and then the navy blue is called Midnight. And so you have an option of just doing Clue 4. Clue 4 is 1 color, and it's the border and edging, so you can do it with your color 3 and just have a 3-color shawl, or you can introduce a 4th color. So my 4th color in the kit is Long Time No See, and I'm torn. I really am torn about if I want to make this a 3-colored shawl or not. I think if I were doing this for myself, I would probably just stick with the Midnight and finish it off that way. I think the dark edging is going to look really nice. But because it's a sample for the shop, the more colors I put in, the kind of more colors I can show and have a sample for. So I am torn. Of course, by the time you guys are seeing this vlog, it's all kind of revealed. So I can't really ask for feedback or anything. But I'm really torn. I think from like an aesthetic point of view, for my personal taste, I think I would like the dark to just finish it off. But I probably will end up doing the 4th color, which is nice because then it'll kind of like make a pop at the end too. So that is that. So yes, Clue 4 is done, and I am on to Clue 5. Anyway, hey everyone, so it's a few days later. It is like Saturday morning now. I didn't get a ton of knitting done this week. It was just a busier work week, like late nights, honestly, and then also the shop was a little bit busier this week. So anyway, I did start Clue 5. You can see here I've done a couple of rows, and I'm actually in the middle of the row, otherwise I'd lay it all out for you guys, but I figured I would show where I'm at. So in the last clip, I was contemplating whether or not I actually wanted to use color 4 or if I wanted to stick with color 3 for the border. Hi, Nacho. Nacho, why don't you tell them about your shawl? What are you working on? Is it soft and squishy? All right, we can work around Nacho here. So it's just gonna focus on him. So I was contemplating of doing kind of Long Time No See, which is my color 4, this kind of bright blue green, or if I wanted to stick with the navy. And I think the way I feel about it is exactly how I did in the last clip. If I were knitting, hey, no. He's eating a stitch marker, or the needle. Nacho, that's not how you knit. Excuse me, that's not how you knit. You need 2 needles, but you need yarn, not your teeth. Okay, so if I were knitting this like for myself to wear around and love, because I do, you know, there's something about a garter stitch shawl that I just can't get enough of. This is what I wear the most. I'm telling you, I would wear this all the time. I don't really wear my samples for the shop, honestly. Oh, look, he's not knitting, he's unknitting. You pulled all those stitches out, buddy. Maybe I shouldn't blame him because I found the 1 stitch marker already. Maybe I had pulled it out. All right, let me get through this clip, Notch, without you totally destroying everything. Thank you. Okay, so the way I feel about this is like the exact same way I felt about it in the other vlog. If I were gonna wear this, I think I would prefer this to have the dark blue, especially for like this being an accessory. So I'm still torn. Like there's the part of me that is going back and forth with it because like that's in my head what I feel like goes. But as I started putting in a Long Time No See, like with the first crush, it just does make it so springy and just brightens it up a lot. And I think that what maybe it is, you know, I think with the, well, anyway, so it's a good opportunity for me to decide because I actually have to rip it back anyway. The reason why I was in the middle of a row was I found a mistake, and I'll be honest, like when mistakes have been coming up recently in my knitting, because I don't get so much knitting time, I've just been working with it. I haven't been ripping back. But the way this pattern works is you have like, you know, this is like a lace section. And I feel like it's one thing to like have things off on the ends, but like to have the lace pattern off, that's just gonna bug me. So I am gonna rip back the 2 rows that I've done. It's really not that much. And go from there. So because I was ripping it back, it was just a good opportunity to decide, you know, which color do I then want to use? Do I want to, you know, stick with the navy blue or brighten it up? And I'm really excited to brighten it up. I think I think this will make the pattern pop, or the sample pop, and I think it'll be really nice. But I think what I will do is have kits in the shop that have the 3 color option as well. So if you haven't made this pattern yet, I do plan to make the pattern based kit. So like right now I have Caladenia, or like right now for me, I'm not sure exactly when this will air. When I had the kits up, I had 100 gram skeins of each color, because at first it wasn't announced like how much you needed at first. I think she's since said you would need like 2 100 gram skeins and 2 50 gram skeins. So I'm gonna make kits like that. But then I'm also, because my mom's knitting the same 4 colors, but she's using them in a completely different order. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. Yeah, I think I'll end up doing like these 3 colored ones with like the pink, the First Crush, Overnight Oats, and Midnight, where it would assume that you would do Midnight as that border too, because I think that will look really nice, and especially for people who might not be like super colorful and maybe they don't like the bright blue green with the bright pink, or vice versa, right? Like I'll also do one where instead of the pink you have the green. So I would say look in the shop for that. I'll probably, you know, at the end of this vlog have info about what you can get and stuff. So it's still early, so I said it's Saturday. It's like the 2nd Saturday of April, whatever that date is, maybe like the 10th or something around there, I feel like. So anyway, that is kind of the catch up for today. I just wanted to talk about it before I ripped it back, but I do think I'm going to stick with Long Time No See. I I really do love this color, and I think the bigger it gets, it's just going to be so pretty and make this so springy. Whereas if I did the navy here, it would almost make it like a wintry shawl, which is kind of funny because I would be wearing this in winter, but it's nice to just have, like, you know, have those options as well. So anyway, that kind of long rant. So now that Nacho helped me pull out a lot of the stitches, you can see I am using stitch markers. I am not somebody who uses stitch markers at every lace repeat like this, but again, my knitting time is limited and I want to prevent ripping back as much as possible. Ironically, I made a mistake, so there's that. Putting in the stitch markers apparently made me mess up, so there's a whole lot of stitch markers in there, but we'll see. So I just have to rip back 2 rows. I'm just going to rip back the purl row and the lace row, and then redo it because I ended at the right number, so that means there's probably 2 mistakes to kind of combat it, or I had the wrong number of stitches, but because of my mistake it made it look right. So anyway, I'm just gonna rip it back and see what happens this go around. And again, if I have like the too many stitches at the end, that's when I'll just like decrease or just not do an increase on the edges. So to make it work, like that doesn't bother me, but having the lace pattern wrong, I want to fix. So anyway, it's pretty early on Saturday morning, so I'm going to honestly probably put this away until a little bit later, and I'm probably going to read and work on my modulancho for a little bit. So I will talk to you guys in the next clip. Hey everyone, so it is now Sunday, April 17th or 18th. Sunday, April 18th. So when we last chatted, I was deciding what I wanted to do with Clue 5 and if I wanted to include the 4th color, Long Time No See. So you can see I absolutely did decide to stick with it, and I'm so glad I did. I really wasn't sure at first, and I honestly think that if I were knitting this for myself, I wouldn't have done it, but I'm so glad I did. I also didn't pay attention to like how much yarn you needed, and I don't know that I would have had enough of the dark color anyway, which is kind of funny. But you can kind of see the shawl here. So again, I'm on Clue 5. So I've shown this to you guys before, but Clue 1 was this section up here, and then Clues 2 and 3, Clue 4, and now you can really start to see Clue 5 in here. So I'll zoom in on it because there is some lace in there. Okay, so you can see some of that lace in there. It's like a little ripple effect with how it's set up, and then you get kind of like these lines down it where the decreases are, which is really nice. And yeah, I just think having like the change in color, it just like changes the total feel of the shawl, and it just like brightens it up and it adds something special at the end. I just absolutely love how this is coming out, and I love that I stuck with it and did the color as I should have. So yes, so yeah, in some ways maybe it would have been better to not know what the knit along looked like and just trusted the pattern and not overthought it, but this is what I have so far. So yeah, so it's a little bit slower going because the rows are longer at this point, but and I can't open the whole shawl out because it's scrunched on the needle. So you guys will see if the whole finished view of it probably in the next vlog. I'll probably just show it at that point finished because I don't know how much more there will be to talk about, but before the end, one thing I wanted to say was, so when I last talked to you guys, I was ripping back. So I did that. I ripped back a few rows because I had I forget exactly what the problem was. You guys might know sooner, might know better because you just saw it 3 seconds ago, but I think I just didn't have the right number of stitches like in the repeats, and didn't want to kind of mess with the look of the pattern to fix it. So I did rip it back and I redid it, and it worked out perfectly. So I don't know what went wrong the first time, but it did work out the next time, and then just kind of have been going smooth sailing and following along. So one thing that did happen was, And I'm going to zoom back in so I can show you guys this. Okay, so you can see how the decreases kind of go down the center. When it blocks out, I think it'll straighten out. It gets a little wonky near the yarn overs, but you get kind of like those increases down the row. So it's designed, of course, so that it, like, you know, makes a straight line down. At one of these repeats, and I honestly can't even see it anymore where it was. I didn't do it like in the new section, so let me flip it around here so you would see it as I saw it while I was knitting it. So basically it was offset, so instead of having the decrease line here, it was like here. So when you were looking at it, kind of like went up and then over. So instead of ripping the few rows back, because again, they're long rows and I'm not lazy, but it was unnecessary. I think when you want to rip something out, when you have a mistake, ripping the columns down, the stitches down is like definitely the first step. Because so what I did was I had to rip, I wasn't as far along as I was now, right? Like I noticed it, that I didn't have the right stitches, so it would have been offset. So I had to rip back into this row because I think I forgot like yarn overs even down in this section. And so I ended up ripping the columns down and then having to redo the decreases and everything. And it wasn't that hard to do. Again, you just kind of have to go slow and think about it. There were a few stitches that I ended up having to drop down because remember there are decreases in here. So I had to have like rip those out, so then there would be a few stitches. And I then went through and I just fixed it in those columns. Again, I don't know that this is the one that was messed up. So I don't know that I'm showing it, but I can tell you now I don't even know which one it was because I wanted to look at it the next time I kind of went through to see if it worked out okay, and I couldn't find it. So it always looks a little weird when you first fix it because like the yarn is pulled in weird ways, but it always seems to settle itself out, especially if not while you're working on it, then while you're blocking it. So that took a while. Like it got to the point where I think that's really been the holdup on this, because I've been trying to fix it like while we're watching TV, and like that just doesn't work, especially with the yarn overs that I had to add in, and then the decreases, getting it lined up so it would sit on top of it correctly. But I think, so at one point I just like said, okay, I can't have the TV on. I need to just like take a few minutes to figure it out. And when I did that, I think it was probably like 10 minutes at most, and it was done and it was fixed and I was on my way again. So that's just what I needed to do. Again, it was a holdup for quite a few days. I would say like a lot. It's Sunday now. I would say a lot of this past week was spent like not fixing that and just like holding it in my lap. So my goal is to have this done a week from now so that next weekend I can photograph. You know, I want to be done next weekend so that I have the following week to get it blocked and photographed, and you know, photographs done so I can share it when the final clue drops the weekend after that. So I have a few more repeats of this left, but I'm hoping that I can get some of it done today, and then move along. So today is Sunday, so if I can get a few more rows in, then do a few rows every night, it should be done by next weekend. And I'll have all of next weekend, of course, too, to keep working on it. So that is where I'm at on Clue 5 and the little adventure I went along. So I hope it was somewhat interesting, and I will probably in the next clip you guys will be seeing the finished project. Maybe I'll do like a before and after blocked versus unblocked or something with it off the needles, but yeah, it should be finished in the next clip, so let's head over to that. Okay, so here is the finished shawl. You can see it is definitely a large shawl. It is so springy, it is so pretty. Just as a reminder, I used my hand-dyed yarn, A Girl and Her Wool. So the colors I used is first Crush, which is the pink at the top here. Then it gets into Overnight Oats. So there's the bobble sections with Overnight Oats. I actually think you can see the contrast a little bit more here. Color 3 was Midnight, which is the dark navy blue. And then the fourth color in the lace border was Long Time No See, which has bits of the same kind of dark blue in it. So it kind of ties it all together. So you'll remember that when I started the last clue, clue 5, so I guess I can recap it. So clue 1 is the first section here with the garter stitch of color 1 and then the bobble section. Clue 3 and 4 are the mosaic sections, and then clue 4 is the second bobble section, and then clue 5 was the lace border. So again, clue 1 was pretty quick. Again, the shawl was pretty small at that point. You can see it's not a big section. And then clues 3 and 4 with the mosaic knitting just went so fast for me that those went really quick. When I got to clue 4, that's when the shawl really slowed down. Those bobble rows really took a while, and because the shawl was longer, kind of flipping it around back and forth just took a while. But again, the rows in between were pretty straightforward. And then the lace row, the lace section probably also took about as long, but you can see there are more rows in it, so it kind of felt like it should. And overall, the lace pattern was really straightforward and memorizable, so it wasn't anything to think too much about. I don't know if I talked about this in the vlog section, so I apologize, but I did use stitch markers for it. I never used to be big on using stitch markers to mark repeats like that, but that's what really made it easy, was having the stitch markers at every repeat and kind of knowing what to do in between them. So if you do knit this pattern and you haven't gotten there yet, I do recommend putting them in at the repeats, and I think that really helped the shawl move along really quickly. So yeah, really fun. Again, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the bright blue, and you can see just really quickly, I didn't block this. I blocked it and I stretched out the lace, but I really didn't pin it as well as I should. I figured this is going to be a sample, and by the time I get to that point, I'm going to need to re-block it anyway, so I didn't want to take the time to pin out all of the lace perfectly at this point. So you can see that from how I pinned it, like the center line doesn't go down through the lace border so well, so definitely something for me to be thinking about when I do pin it. I need to pin like straight down here a little bit better. What I'm talking about is like here, like pull that part down. But that's fine because again, I'm gonna have to reblock it, I think, before I have it as a sample anyway. But yeah, I think if I had done the midnight, I think it would have looked great with the midnight as the border, because it just would have made it like a darker shawl, and I think that it almost would have made the border just kind of be there as the border, and then this would have been the highlight of the shawl. Whereas with having the bright colored border, it really makes it like stand out and make it something special too. So you have the mosaic section, but then you have this really fun like special border there as well, and especially when you wear it, which again, I think I need to shrink it down before like really wearing it. You know, when we wear it, we don't often have it like splayed out as we hold it up. And so when you wear it, like you really get the, you see the mosaic, but having that pop of color kind of line stripe through it too is really nice. And I'm really excited to have it. It also makes it a more springy colored shawl, which is, you know, this was my spring kit, so that's what I wanted versus the fall kit that I did. So it makes sense to have it as super bright. I definitely recommend doing it as the 4-colored shawl. I also would not have had enough midnight to do the shawl. I used basically the entire skein to do the border. So I think in the 3-colored version, she has you switch some of the earlier clues. So you really don't have enough to make that decision at the end if you didn't adjust earlier on. I think what you probably do is I have no idea. I didn't read those instructions, but I think you change what you're doing and which colors you use in the mosaic if you want to do it as a 3-colored shawl. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was you're supposed to change needle sizes. So I always go down needle size. I'm a super loose knitter. You can see this came out huge anyway. I think the shawl probably called for a size 4. I feel like that's like the norm with shawls, 4 to 6. US size 4 to 6. I can't remember what the original pattern asked for. But I ended up doing a size 2. That's what I do with my yarn. Technically my sock base is a light fingering, so I think that kind of aids in going down. But I always use a size 2 when I knit shawls with my sock base. So that's what I did here. I don't really keep track of the gauge, except I did do a pre-blocking gauge, so I'm going to remeasure it now. I'll show you guys that in my craft journal. And so going into clue 3, when you do the mosaic, you were supposed to go down a needle size, I think. And it's funny because I think a lot of people missed that note just based on like the Ravelry discussion board. So I noticed it, but I opted not to go down just because I like the gauge I get. I'm such a loose knitter as it is, that maybe you were supposed to go up a needle size, and I assumed I'm such a loose knitter anyway that I really didn't want to go up a needle size for it. So I kept the same size needle the whole way through, and to me it doesn't like look weird or stretched out or too small or anything. I think it works well. The top of the shawl is pretty straight, so for me it worked out to not change the needles, but you know, that's kind of personal preference. This kit is still available in my shop, as well as the fall kit. The fall kit will be available for just a little bit longer. I'm hibernating the colors that I'm using in it, and so I figure I'll keep the kit for this up for like another week or 2, and then I'll take it down. The spring kit is going to stay up for quite a while longer. So it's a 4-colored shawl, a 4-colored kit that comes with 100-gram skeins. So I'm going to keep that listing up, but I'm also going to make one specific for this pattern. So I used all of the blue, and I used a lot of the pink, I think, but I only used half of color 2, Overnight Oats and Midnight, and I think her pattern calls for that, like 2 100-gram skeins and 2 50-gram skeins. That detail, I might have missed it, but I don't think that was available like when I got my early sneak peek. So I didn't make the kits that way originally, but I'm gonna set up a listing specific for this pattern. So if you want to knit this pattern out of these colors, you can, and I'll have a special listing. But if you just like a shawl out of these 4 colors, I also have that as like a 4-colored shawl kit in my shop. I will say too, my mom used the same kit, and I told her a different order to use the colors in. So she used Midnight for color 1. So where I have the pink, she had Midnight, which means in the mosaic it'll be flip-flopped. And she has Overnight Oats in there. So her mosaic is the cream and the dark blue. And then up here she has the dark blue with Long Time No See. So I really had her kind of flip-flop how she does the colors. And so her border will be First Crush, the pink. So far her pictures make the shawl look so different than mine. She has a lot more contrast in these bobble rows than I have. So I'll post photos of that on Instagram as well. You can follow me at agirlandherwool, because it just like totally changed the look of the shawl, which is really fun, even though they're the same 4 colors. So so that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know below if you liked kind of seeing the vlog along the way of me working on the shawl, in addition to having the finished project here. So that will do it. Tuesday I will be back with another Dye with Me, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And you can find my shop at agirlandherwool.com. So I'm also doing a live stream Sunday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Just gonna be answering any questions you have, chatting about our projects. I'm gonna kind of make like a topic of it about charity knitting, because I'm going to be trying to get some of those partial skeins that I have sitting around knit up into projects and out of the house. So I'm gonna be kind of like, I don't know if it'll be like a cast on party or if I'll just kind of like plan and show things and talk about that. So make sure you join me here on YouTube on Sunday for that. So I will see you guys soon, and I hope you guys love this shawl, and I can't wait to see what you guys knit. I'm gonna be following the hashtag so I can kind of see everyone's finished projects. So thanks so much. I will see you guys soon. Bye.